Thick skin is as important as safe hands for a goalkeeper, and Jordan Pickford, it seems, is as adept at deflecting criticism as saving shots. With social media the theme of the day ahead of tonight's Euro 2020 opener against Czech Republic, England's number one was at his disarmingly honest best. News Group Newspapers Limited. Jordan Pickford loves a check of social media, but keeps the cool head. Declan Rice, ill-judged Instagram post in support of the IRA, when he was a teenager in 2015, had blindsided boss Gareth Southgate on the eve of his qualifying campaign. But there is also the issue of how players, the vast majority of whom are keen social media users, cope with the barrage of stick they receive. And if every England footballer had Pickford's blasé attitude towards criticism on the internet and on the terraces, then Southgate would be a happier man. The Everton keeper plays the daft northern lad act as well as Freddie Flintoff during the height of his powers in the England cricket team. Like Flintoff, you get the impression he is not as daft as he makes out. Keep it cool. Fred asked whether the key to handling criticism was not overthinking things. Pickford quipped, "I cannot overthink me, lad." The former Sunderland star, 25, made the surprisingly candid admission that he tends to scroll through social media within 5 minutes of returning to the dressing room at the end of most matches. And while other players got angry or used criticism as motivation, he tended to find it all a laugh. Pickford also confessed he had been distracted by getting involved in banter with Newcastle supporters before he blundered in a 3-2 defeat at St James's Park earlier this month. It was an erratic performance which led to speculation over whether Southgate could axe him. And Pickford admitted, "With me being a Sunderland lad, in front of 52,000 Newcastle fans hurling abuse at me for the full game, maybe it did get to me a little bit too much. But I'm only 25 and I think it's a learning curve for me. I think that's how I can improve. Next time I go there, I won't be getting involved as much. After the World Cup, I've definitely seen the good side, going to all the other stadiums and getting a round of applause from opposition fans. That's different class, and I think that's what hopefully the England squad has done for the nation. Unfortunately, I won't be getting that at Newcastle ever, so that's something I've got to deal with and move on from, too. With me being a Sunderland lad, in front of 52,000 Newcastle fans hurling abuse at me for the full game, maybe it did get to me a little bit." Jordan Pickford. Yet how do modern footballers cope with criticism and outright abuse on social media? Pickford shrugged his shoulders and said, "I don't mind it. It's just social media really at the end of the day. You see it all on Twitter, and if you don't laugh you cry. It's alright. Everyone can have their own opinion. All that matters is how I feel, and my opinion, my coaches and the people around me like my family. Criticism is always going to happen in any sport. I don't think everyone's going to be perfect in every match throughout their whole career, so a bit of criticism isn't going to hurt you too much. It's weird, because when you turn your phone on, the first thing you do is go on Twitter or Instagram and see what you've been mentioned in. How long does Pickford leave it after a match before checking those mentions? He revealed, about 5 minutes. But every footballer is different. Some read them and have a laugh, some read them and maybe get offended, and some people might think, how can I get better and not get the criticism? Some people don't have it at all. I think it's just me as a person. Nothing really affects me, from being brought up well by my parents and where we are from. We're a hard-working family, and I think that's where my mentality comes from." Newcastle horror show. Pickford believes his horror show on Tyneside was a one-off, though. He added, "Apart from the Newcastle game, I think up until then I was doing well, and I think I bounced back from that Newcastle game with a solid performance in Sunday's 2-0 win against Chelsea. I know whether I've played a good game or a bad game. So, I always take it game by game and ask how can I improve. I never go into a game with any doubts. I always feel confident in my ability and hopefully I can be strong mentally." I'd say that's one of the strongest parts of my game. Keeper Pickford insists he is happy to watch replays of his own errors, and said, "I've done it in the games and I don't mind watching it back. I know if it's a technical goalkeeping error or a misjudgment. I know what type of error it is after I have watched it back again, and sometimes you don't need telling. It's about knowing how to improve and knowing how to cancel those errors out. I'm maybe in the spotlight a bit more now, but it doesn't affect me in games. I've just got to not let criticism affect me and perform. I got criticized for the Newcastle game all week and I showed up with a